I told y'all what we was gonna do, so we back with another video, and we finna discuss the adult, and we finna discuss the adult complex. You feeling me? We gonna discuss the adult complex. So, what's the adult complex? And in this video, um, the adult complex comes with psychology and everything. So, the adult complex, right? You got some adults who, think, right, where you got some adults who move off their age, right? You got some adults who use their age for authority. So some person may turn 25, 26, and indeed they'll begin to belittle a person that's younger than them and say like, "Oh, I'm older than you. You can't tell me much of anything because you don't really know much yourself," right? So now you got some adults who have done the necessary things to get to where they want to be now. Now to those people, I'm not talking about y'all, right? Salute y'all. We ain't even finna discuss y'all, but this video is for everybody. So we talking to the adults. We talking to the adults who use their authority. We talking to the adults who use their authority, who use their age for authority, but haven't done any necessary work at all. Meaning their potential doesn't show, their knowledge doesn't show, and all they have to show for it is work. All they have to, not even, all they have to, well, not even work. Let's remove work, right? So they don't have much to show for it. So basically, they're going around telling people what to do when in reality they haven't even done the work. They haven't done the necessary steps for themselves to even get that benefit out of telling other people what to do. You see what I'm saying? So hence the adult complex, right? So we're gonna go into more detail. Just give me a few minutes. Yeah, so for one for one, see, for adults the ego is way higher than for a kid, right? Because for an adult you have your age. You have your age used as your ego. Not only do you have your age, but you have experience, right? Not major experience, but enough experience to get you to where you enough experience to excel whatever you trying to get across. So now let's go over this. Here's how an adult complex might look. Symptoms or signs: talking down to peers or even adults as if they've already mastered life. So that's basically what I'm saying. Guys and girls, one thing about this, we don't know everything. How we may think we know everything because of the community we live in, the situation we live in. We don't know everything, and we can't learn everything because that'll be too much to grasp. But can't is I don't. I'm kind of like the movie Love and Basketball when he told the son can't should never be in your vocabulary because it shouldn't, right? So here's another one: forcing maturity, using big words, copying adult speech or behavior without real understanding. Basically, basically, you may have heard somebody say something. You may have heard somebody say something very smart or very profound in the current situation that you're in. Basically, okay, y'all may share experiences, right? Somebody may have gotten into a fight. You also may have gotten into a fight. And the way they explain their fight is a little bit more intelligent, and you kind of feel a pull. You kind of being pulled to it. So in return, you might copy the same thing that you heard her say or heard him say. So in the process of you doing that, do you fully understand what you're saying? No, you don't fully understand it, but you have some sort of grasp. You have some sort of understanding, not full understanding, but you have some sort of understanding, correct? So here's another one. Overstepping boundaries, thinking they know best, even in situations far beyond their years. So let's talk about how belief over exceeds. Let's talk about how belief over exceeds the mind. Meaning, your mind is built to know right from wrong, but you have certain things put in front of you that kind of shut your mind off. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have certain things in front of you that kind of shut your mind off. I'm not gonna go into detail, right? Because it'll be might get some trouble, so we ain't gonna do that. So next one, acting like they're too involved for childish things while often lacking real emotional maturity, right? So you got some adults, you got some adults or certain people saying certain things are childish, but you haven't even perfected life, nor have you mastered life. You haven't even mastered your own life. So it's like, okay, guys, listen. Let's say you got a partner, right? You and your girlfriend or whatever the case. You and your girlfriend, you tell your partner, okay, I want to go hiking. I want to go hiking. I feel like it'll be a good trip, to put you out in the wilderness, show you my survival skills. I feel like it'll be great for the both of us, right? Then in that process, I feel like we can bond a little more too. So in that whole process, right, you explain to her everything. Now she says, "Oh, that's childish. That's lame. Why in the why the hell would I want to go hiking when I can sit at home in my backyard and enjoy nature?" Right? So, guys, I'm gonna need you to think, right? She would rather she would rather be in the comfort of her own home, right? She would rather be in the comfort of her own home, be secluded and enjoy herself rather than expanding and witnessing nature for what it is. So and indeed, she said that's lame, right? She said it's lame, so she's more of a secluded kind of person, right? So by me saying that, by me saying by me saying what I said, right? Okay, a lot of people have their own a lot of people have their own preferences, and sometimes it'll come off as a little too demanding, or maybe she isn't in a position that she wants to be in, or she isn't in a position that you want her to be in. You see what I'm saying? Because obviously y'all obviously obviously y'all both are not in the same category, because one of you wants to go hiking and the other one wants to remain secluded. Right? She wants to remain secluded. So, what are the root causes that might include such activity? Right? Growing up too fast, trauma, unstable home, being forced into caretaker roles. Right? So, chat, one thing about it, see, one thing about it, you would want, one thing about it, you can allow your kid to excel on certain things, but let a kid be a kid. Keep in mind what I say. Let a kid be a kid. You don't have to incorporate adult things that you do into your kid's life. Let a kid be a kid. You can still teach your kid things and they can still be a kid. But let the adult things in your life stay in your life, and let the kid's life, and let the enjoyment that comes from life itself to stay in the kid's life. Basically, you can teach your kid how to read. You can teach your kid anything. That's being a kid and that's learning. They will go to school and they will have to learn eventually. So let your kid learn certain things, right? It's not a bad thing to increase the knowledge of a kid. It's not a bad thing at all. But certain people don't do it because they haven't even got the okay. Certain people don't do that because they don't have they wasn't brought up like that, right? They wasn't brought up like that, nor do they have the knowledge to nor do they have the knowledge to do it themselves either, right? So um Yeah, we just went over growing up too fast, trauma, unstable home, being forced into caretaker roles. One thing about one thing about it, see, one thing about me, I wouldn't necessarily say I grew up too fast, but I was a kid, right? I enjoyed kid things, right? If it's building, if it's playing, if it's being a hard knock, those are kid things, right? You don't want to incorporate adult things into a kid's life. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, right? Trying to earn respect in adult dominated spaces. You feeling me? So yeah, trying to earn respect in adult dominated spaces. So um yeah. So you have some people who was never like, okay, adults never granted with the ability, never granted with the never granted with the ability of respect, right? Meaning, so you may be an adult now, you may be 32, but during your years nobody ever respected you. Nobody ever respected you. Is it because of something they did, or is it because of something you didn't do? You got to think about that. Is it because of something you did, or is it because of something you didn't do? Right? The thing that you didn't do is what people mostly deny, and is what people try to hurdle around. They try to hurdle they try to hurdle around self-reflection to the point where the mind becomes misguided and is focused on something else, right? So, yeah, we just went over trying to earn respect in adult dominated spaces. Making mimicry for maturity. Mistaking mimicry for maturity. So basically, you got some adults that are, you have some adults who, will escalate certain things because they need to do that, right? They feel there's a need to expose somebody. They feel there's a need to use their anger. They feel there's a need to do this and that, etc. Right? But in reality, there's always a better time. There's always a better time for most things that are not taken into consideration beforehand. You see what I'm saying? There's always a better time for certain things to happen. Meaning, okay, let's take this example, like let's take this example into a late night Miami night on the strip bar fight. You feeling me? You in you, you in the bar, you in the bar. Maybe you're a little intoxicated or whatever the case. Maybe you're a little intoxicated, right? So you ask the waiter to give you a drink, right? Give me one on the table. Okay, cool. The waiter says, "Okay, I will assist you after I assist these people." Okay, I will assist you after I assist these people. And in return, you get mad. You get mad because you mistake somebody being in check. You mistake somebody having a organized routine in their job life to somebody talking shit to you. So, and in that process, you end up doing something that you feel is right, and you go home and you unsober and you talk about it, and you say okay, but you still don't learn your lesson. You still don't learn your lesson. You still justifying why you went off on her. You're still justifying why you did. You're still justifying why you did that to him or why you did that to her. Meaning You haven't matured mentally. You haven't matured mentally at all, right? So here's another one. Media influence, idolizing grand culture authority or alpha personalities. Meaning you have adults who, meaning you have most people nowadays. Now, most adults nowadays glorifying certain lifestyles, right? You got certain women moving. You have certain women moving to certain parts of the United States just to increase their, just to increase the possibility of them coming across somebody that's rich, right? You got certain females doing it. So basically, you end up moving to a location. You end up moving to a location hoping for a better experience for yourself, but you're not gonna do it. You're gonna let somebody else do it for you. So, and in that process of even, doing it, you may idolize yourself a lot. You may sexualize yourself. You may do a lot of things, right? A lot of things that bring attention to yourself. You may do a lot of things that bring attention to yourself because you want people to see you. You want to be seen. So that's one thing about kids and adults. Kids want to be seen and adults want to be seen. You got kids that want to be seen who haven't been loved, and you got adults who can't handle their own problems and want to be seen also. So let's break it down. You have adults, right, who can't handle their own business, who can't do the work, who can't do much of anything, so they're looking for a handout. You have kids who need much attention, but they don't receive it, so they want attention. Okay, so difference from a healthy maturity. Okay, so a mature young person can own their growth without needing to dominate or fake adulthood. The adult complex, hold on. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's basically gonna be it for this video. I went into detail about most things that adults go through, most things that a lot of people go through with certain adults who engage their ego into other people's lives, try to increasingly engage their ego into other people's lives. um let's give some more examples, right? You may work a job. You may work a job you may have a job at a desk, right? As a You may have a job at a desk or you work for a corporation, and during your stay at said job, you try to overstimulate or overbalance what you can already do to indeed get higher positions, right? So when the opportunity comes for you to actually speak what you speak, you don't speak with you don't speak with you don't speak like a leader, right? You speak with you kind of, it's almost like you're it's almost like you it's almost like you it's almost like you speaking with the unknown, right? It's almost like you speaking with unknown, not fully confident. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. We're gonna make another one. Yeah.